Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino back here, and we've got a really fun old school interview here today because here with me to talk about everything that's going on in the world of Survivor, fellow two-time Survivor player. Here she is. It's Danielle Neff DiLorenzo. Danielle, how are you?
I'm so good. I'm so good. In between chasing two toddlers, I'm fantastic.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you for making some time to talk about everything with Survivor. I know that over the summer you caught up with Brandon Donlin in the Survivor 50 preview series. Maybe I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit at some point today as well. But what's the update in case anybody hadn't heard that podcast?
Yeah. So I had two kids 18 months apart. So the last 4.5 years of my life, well, let's rewind. Before I had children, I opened up a hot yoga studio, a
Oh,
private hot yoga studio. And so
yeah.
I was teaching and I loved it. I was teaching 3-4 classes a day. Then I got pregnant and my doctor was like, yeah, no more hot yoga. So sadly, I had to step away from that. It's still a huge passion of mine. And I have some news to share. So I do want to get back. I am going to be getting back into it. So yeah,
Is that the news?
No.
Oh.
So, well, okay. So two of my best friends, they started a production company. And so they are doing children's they're doing children's like YouTube channels, children's shows.
Yes.
And so I want to combine basically both of my passions, like yoga and kids, and might be working on a yoga online channel for kids.
Cool.
For kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something that it's in the works. We're starting to talk about it. Probably start working on that next year. But yeah, so I have my real estate license. I practice real estate. But I also, I have two small babies that I've been dedicated the last 4.5 years of my life to, and just being mama bear.
Okay. How did you get into hot yoga? Because I don't remember that being part of your Survivor story, certainly way back when. If anything, it was people you played with, Aris, Parvati, go to them for yoga. But how did you get into this?
So when I moved to LA, after I got off the show, I ended up moving out to LA. And I had a lot of friends that would invite me to yoga classes, and I would go with them, and I just really started to enjoy it. And I just took a huge liking to it. I started going more and more. And then another friend of mine took me to a hot yoga class, because a regular yoga class is completely different than a hot yoga class. I don't know if you've ever taken a hot yoga class, but it's pretty intense.
No, I've read a little bit about that the heat is supposed to be very good for you. And we could talk about that in this season, but I think it is interesting.
Yeah, it's very detoxifying, and it's just, your mind feels so you just can clear your mind in that room for 90 minutes that you're in there. And you focus on your breath.
How hot does it get?
It's hot. It's probably 100. I mean, you can make anywhere from 90, 95 is probably it's a good temperature that most of the rooms have. I've gone in hotter rooms because I'm crazy and I really, really like the heat.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's intense and it's exhausting. But you feel like $1 million after.
So, okay, speaking of feeling like $1 million, I know were talking with Brandon about how that you were in the mix also for Survivor 50. Do you feel like that hot yoga was something that would, all these players, Jeff himself is fading from the heat? You feel like that you probably wouldn't have even bothered you.
I know. I'm I see them always making comments about the heat, and I'm just it was hot when we all did it too. I'm what about the rain? We had torrential, they don't even get rain in Fiji. I mean, barely.
So true. Yeah, this season has really been all about the heat and how oppressive the heat is. But I remember in, Panama, and I know also the beginning of Heroes versus Villains, those are some of the worst wet weather times that we've ever seen on Survivor.
Yeah, no, Panama was brutal. I mean, we had days it didn't stop raining. Like I got sent to Exile Island with what's his name?
Austin.
Thank you. I'm blanking on his name. And we were in a tree stump literally for 48 hours. Like because it just torrential downpoured and we were absolutely freezing, like just praying to the Lord that we were going to be okay. So yeah, I mean, the circumstances back then, the weather conditions were terrible. So when I hear them complaining about them now, I'm like, you guys, like, and we had 39 days. Like, hello.
Yeah,
like,
it's a good perspective because I think you would take the hottest day on Survivor any day over a cold and wet day on Survivor.
Absolutely. I mean, the rain is brutal because you're literally, your clothes don't dry. And then you're sleeping in soaking wet clothes and your feet are raw, your hands are raw. Like and in the heat, you can go in the shade. You can go under a tree.
So I'm excited to get the chance to talk to you because I know from the podcast you did with Brandon that you've been keeping up with all this stuff in the new era. And so I'm interested to get your takes on things. And I thought that this was such an interesting week of Survivor because I enjoyed everything with Sage and Shannon and their whole storyline. And I had remarked this week that I thought it was really fun because it was a throwback for me to see people on Survivor with a real personality clash. And I feel like it's very rare in this era of Survivor that we get players with personality clashes and that they don't want to work together because that they're just not feeling each other. But when we go back and look at your season, the first season of Survivor, specifically in Panama, there were personality clashes galore.
Oh my, we were a very dysfunctional tribe, the Kasiah tribe. And the thing with it was we won challenges. We were able to like get it together for the challenge and win the challenges. But during camp time, it was a constant battle. Like every day was a fight, whether it was me and Shane, whether it was Shane and Courtney, whether it was Bruce and Shane, or, like everyone, we all bickered like little kids, and so to see the kumbaya these days with everybody lovey-dovey, I love you, good vibes here, good vibes here. It's just like, it's so different from like when I played. It's funny to watch because I'm like, this is not like, if I were to play in this time, it would be so different. Like it's such a better experience, honestly. And like, you're already in like such stressful conditions to be working with people that are combative and like yelling at you and coming at you all the time. Like it's really hard out there.
Sure.
So,
and so when you were watching Sage and Shannon and, how Sage was feeling about Shannon, did that at all remind you of your playing time?
It did. Yeah. I think that I love that she would share it with us. I feel like, she did a really great job of showing Shannon, like hiding her feelings to Shannon and making Shannon feel like she really liked her and she was comfortable with her and that she trusted her. But then in reality, she would turn to the camera and just be like, give that like, ew, like gross face. And it cracked me up because I was like, that's pretty great. I thought that was really comedic that she was doing that. And I mean, I think it's the first time you've seen any kind of, confrontation really. Jawan and what's her name? Savannah. I know Savannah gets irritated with Jawan, but even so, she's not, she tells the camera that, she's uncomfortable, that she doesn't like him, but she hasn't really told him.
And it's a very one-sided rivalry where
like he has no idea.
And he, I don't think really even knows that she's super upset with him. But I want to talk about Shannon in particular, because I was wondering if you saw any similarities between her and somebody that you played with in Panama, Courtney. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm all about spirituality. But I feel that Shannon was using her spirituality to try to build trust with people. And I think it ended up working against her. So yeah, I do see bits and pieces of like her kind of being similar to Courtney, but Courtney didn't try to build bonds with people based off of her spirituality. I think she just Courtney would show that she was a spiritual person, that she would talk about it. She would go off and do her like yoga and stuff like that, but she wouldn't push it on people.
The two of them, I think it's interesting because I think that while they do share that sort of same spiritual energy, that I feel like that they're in some ways they're kind of opposites. Where I felt like that Shannon was somebody who tailored her approach specifically for whoever she was dealing with. She was going to be like this with you. She was going to be like this with somebody else. Whereas Courtney, to me, was not somebody who would tailor her approach based off of who she was dealing with. She was going to be the same way with everybody, and it really irritated some people because of how she was.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, she wasn't able to kind of like adapt. Courtney didn't so much. She was who she was to everybody, and like that's just kind of how she played it. But yeah, Shannon was a little bit more strategic that way, where she was able to handle people differently. She was kind of like a chameleon in a way where she could adapt her personality to kind of mesh with the other person to try to make them, again, build the trust and the friendship. So she did really, I do like give her props for that. Like, I really do think that she did a great job, but I just think it was a little too much at times. And I think people started to feel like, because she was playing hard, but not a lot of people realized that, you know what I mean? And then when Sage knew the whole time, Sage was the only one that was like aware of how hard that she was playing. People were just looking at her like, oh, she's just very spiritual and like la di da di da. Like, I don't think people really like looked at her as like any kind of threat or anything.
And I think that Shannon, in another world, like actually could have been a very dangerous player. I thought she kind of had like a little bit of a Parvati in her, not to say that, not to compare her to Parvati per se, but in the way that I think that she was very powerful. And I think that she was able to bring people in. You saw it in her original tribe. Like, had she not gotten swapped, she had Savannah, she had Rizzo, she had Nate. And I felt like that she was somebody who really did seem to have a gift where she was able to, get certain people like brought in and really feeling good about her.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think she did a great job with that as well. Yeah, I mean, I think she did great. It's just the only downfall is that I think people started to like read into the spirituality talk. Like, I think that kind of like it was too much at times. Like, I love you. Like, I feel like she said, I love you so much to everybody. And it just didn't seem like authentic. And I think people were like, does she really love me? Or is she just trying to like, be my friend right now or like win me over kind of thing. So yes, I think she had some like really strong points, but also too, like, I think it worked against her. And obviously Sage didn't help anything. So.
Yeah. Danielle, did you know anything about her, Shannon's background, that she also too is a Boston girl?
Yeah.
Her father owns
the greatest
bar.
The greatest bar, which is the Survivor bar now.
Yes. Have you been there?
No, I'm going. I'm going to be there because I'm going back to Boston to see my family. And I'm going to be there on Saturday on December 7th.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm going to go check it out. I've been dying to check it out. I've been seeing all of the marketing about it.
Looks cool.
I'm like, it looks so cool. I'm like, I'm going to be there. I'm like, I got to go see it. So I'm really excited.
She also then her father has employed Boston Rob Mariano.
I heard that as well.
Is a family friend, and
I didn't know they were family friends.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes, and he had given her some advice before she went to go play. Also,
interesting. Okay, I did not know. I knew that he had worked at the bar, but I didn't know that they were family friends. Yeah. So that's
your
cool.
Years being in the Survivor community, did you ever give advice to a new player who went into the game?
I did.
Who?
The Boston guy that was the pizza guy.
Justin from season 48. You gave advice to.
He's actually a family friend. He's a friend of. He's a family. So his family is really close with a close family friend of mine.
Yes.
And so when he was being interviewed, he would call me up and say, well, his family friend, the mutual friend, called me and said,
Yeah.
do you mind giving Justin some advice? And I said, no problem. And so him and I spoke for months, back and forth. Like, he would just ask me questions like that he was being asked and all of that. And yeah, I helped him out for a really long time. And I was so stoked that he got on because he wasn't sure. And then he called me. He's like, I'm going. And I'm like, woohoo. So
yeah. And have you been to Luigi's Pizza?
I haven't, but you know what? When I go home, because I haven't been back to Boston. So when I go back, I am going to go have
You have a
check it
whole
out.
like Survivor tour of you're going to go to the Survivor bar. You're going to go to Luigi's Pizza.
I know my sister lives in that area where the Luigi's Pizza is. So I will definitely be in that area. I'm going to go check it out.
What'd you think about what happened with Justin?
I was bummed. I feel
he
like
kind of got hosed.
Yeah. And I feel like I just wanted him to speak up. Like, I just wanted him to be like, like stick up for himself. I don't know if that's the way they edited or whatever, but like, I feel like he was so passive with like him just going home. I'm like, fight for it. Like because I so wanted to like root for him and have him stay in the game. Like, he's a great kid. He's super smart. And he comes from a really good family. And I was just really hoping to see more Boston, like, bargaining and like, get negotiating.
Yeah.
And
he was in a tough spot there with the people that he was in that group with. And I think that was also a 4-person tribe that he was in. And of course, in the new era, they love to have really small tribes. They say that your back is against the wall. You played in, you started your Survivor journey in a 4-person tribe. What is the difference with a very small tribe versus some of the bigger tribes you were in?
Yeah, I think you have more time to get to know everybody because there's less people, obviously. And so, if someone's really, if you don't like somebody, you figure that out right away, as opposed to like a big tribe where, you try to get along, you try to get to know people. It just takes more time to get, get to know like 7 or 8 people as opposed to like 3 or 4 people. So it's easier to align yourself quickly. You'll figure that out who you want to align with, I think, faster in a smaller tribe. And just hope that people like you because you be on the chopping block real quick.
Yeah. Do you have any players this season that you feel like you've really connected with in terms of they remind you of you or there's somebody that's just fun for you to watch?
Yeah, I admire like MC. I think she's such a strong woman, and I love how
athlete.
She's such a strong athlete, and I love watching her in the challenges. She dominates, and I think she has a good head on her shoulders, and I think she's playing. I think she's playing a smart game. So I've been really enjoying her, and I'm also enjoying Nate, and I'm enjoying Nate because I imagine how I would act in a group of Gen Z players. And it's just, I think he's doing a great job of not playing his age and just, like really blending in with them and not making him seem like the old guy.
That's
like,
interesting to explore because I think that I have this and you have this where that you played the game. And how old were you when you played, Danielle?
I was 24 when I first played.
Okay, so you were part of like the young people when you played, and then to play now, like you would be like one of the grown-ups, and there would be like other young people there. Do you remember feeling like when you were the 24-year-old, and I was 24 when I played also the first time. Do you remember feeling like, hey, like some of these older players, they're like, so they don't even know,
they don't know anything,
the slang that we're using.
Yes, I do. It's funny because
what were words that 24-year-olds would say in 2006? Is that when you went in 2006?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Psych.
I have to Google. I don't even remember.
I don't really, I don't know, but now like the cringe and the good vibes, everything is vibes, but cringe, I'm like, yes. I just can't. I just don't.
You think cringe is cringe?
Yeah, I'm like, what? Like when they say that, I'm like, what does that mean? I don't have a 10-year-old to explain it to me. I got.
See, that's what I do. That's my one advantage now is that advantage. I'm very out of touch. But then my kids are like constantly. I figure out what they're saying.
Yeah,
and then it
I
changes.
hear from my friends that have kids your kids' age, the 10-year-olds, 11s, 12s, and they're like, it's like you literally have to like find out like the definition. Like there's a new definition that's been created for these words to be able to understand their language. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it was totally different. I mean, when I was 24, I think about it then, like Shane was 35, Suri was
But he's
35.
a young 35, Shane.
No, yeah, but he was very like he was witty,
Yeah.
and like a
He
24
was like
to
a
a 35.
35-year-old who was spent a lot of time with young, at these
Yeah, like
nightclubs and everything.
yeah, he was definitely like a young 35-year-old, but still had the wisdom of a 35-year-old. And like
Mhm.
that's a lot on a 24-year-old. I was the youngest. Me and Aris were the same age, but everybody else, like Bruce and Bobby and Suri and Melinda and Shane, they were all like way older than, they were like 10 years older than us. And that's a
Mhm.
huge difference.
Yeah.
And so I feel like
Yeah, forget that Bobby was on the old man tribe to start the game.
yeah,
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. He was on the
no,
young
wait,
man
no,
tribe.
he was on the young, he was on the
Suri
young.
was on the older women tribe.
She was on the older, and so was Shane. No, Shane was on the older man
Shane
tribe.
was definitely
He was
there
like,
with
"Why am I on the older man
Terry and
tribe?"
Dan, right? And
Yeah, he was
Bruce.
so like upset about that. I remember him saying like, "Why am I on the old man tribe?"
Hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's like so different. Like if I were to play now to like be, in my 40s, like playing the game, I would be one of the older people, which would be a total change from when I first played. And you have an advantage as an older person. You have more wisdom, you have more life experiences, you have more tools in your toolkit, So it's like, I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like it would be such a different like dynamic for me to go back
Yeah.
and play at this
And
age.
Nate's done a really good job, I think, of riding that line, because I think that there is like a way it could go where it's like this person's out of touch. This is the old guy. He's
Totally.
not part of it. But no, he's really done a good job of ingratiating himself in with this group that he's been in.
Yeah, that's why I'm very like interested in what his gameplay and what he continues to do, because I'm watching him articulate himself in a way where he's really like blending in with the Gen Zs and making it seem very seamless. And so I'm interested to see if that continues along the way. But yeah, I think he's doing an excellent job and he's really fun to watch. And he's a producer for like
And
the Black Panther, which is like so
for
cool.
Marvel. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think this season so far, it hasn't been that many big exciting votes until we got to this week. I thought that things were starting to pick up. But looking ahead, we are getting into a merge where I think that this could be some real fireworks. Now, you were there for one of the greatest merge votes that there ever was in Survivor Heroes versus Villains, when Parvati ended up playing the two idols. I'm sure that whatever happens this week, it won't be that, but it does feel like that we are finally going to have a merge where we have two sides coming to have this big face-off in this vote this week.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, I'm interested to see how this is going to play out, because it seems like they're very so much wanting to stay with their tribes,
Yes.
And that's going to change so fast. And we will see that once the merge hits, because, as we all know, like they can't stay kumbaya forever. So it'll be very interesting to see who flips.
Yeah, because it's been a very new school Survivor thing, or the new era Survivor thing, where that we get to the merge and everything is very much mishmashed and the tribe lines are not really there. But this does feel like a season, for whatever reason, that you have the people from the old red tribe and the people from the old yellow tribe. And it does feel like that there's going to be this showdown coming up this week.
Yeah, I feel like that too. They're just so tight, like they're so connected to each other, and they all get along so well, which is kind of unlikely too. There's no clash of, personalities like what we were talking about before. They seem to be very, likable. They all like each other.
Yeah. Danielle, can you share with me your origin story of Survivor? How did you end up on the show?
So I was in Las Vegas at the Mandalay Bay pool,
Yeah.
And I was at a bachelorette party with 25 girls.
Hmm.
And Lynn Spillman and Erica Shea walked up to me and asked me if I would be interested in doing
A
Survivor or
classic
Amazing
story.
Race.
Yes.
So that is how, so then from there, they had already narrowed it down to 40 contestants. And, when she first walked up to me, I had seen like one episode of Survivor, and I had seen Boston Rob, and I was a huge fan of Boston Rob. And so I was like, all I knew, I'm Italian. I'm like, I like to eat. The only thing I was like, being on an island stranded without food sounds awful. I was like, no, I don't, I don't think I'm interested in this. So she was like, well, think about it. When you get back, we've already narrowed it down to 40 contestants. We would just need you to send in a video and fill out the application. And then we would fly you out to Santa Monica for the final interviewing process. So my friends were like, you got to do it. You got to do it. And I get back, I'm in Florida at the time, and I make the video, and I'm like, I got to do this. This is crazy. Like, this is like once in a lifetime kind of opportunity. And so I make the video, I fill out the application, I send it all in. They're like, we love you. We're flying you out for the final interviewing process. They flew me out. I went through the 2 weeks of interviewing, and then I was on the island like 3 weeks later.
Wow.
Like, it was so fast.
Did anybody else in your group of 25 women that were at the bachelor, did anybody else get a card from Erica?
And I asked, I was like, why me? Because I was so curious. I'm like, they're like, we loved your energy. We loved the way that you were like interacting with people. They said they were watching me for 2 days. So they were there obviously to recruit people, but we were at the pool like for that last couple of days, and they had been watching me, and she walked right up to me.
Isn't it amazing though, that I feel like that there's so many stories like that where that you are just like out in the world somewhere, and it's so different than what the casting does now. And you could say it's for better or for worse. But that it was like, oh, Lynn Spillman saw me doing blah, 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 and was like, hey, you should be on Survivor. And that people that are like huge characters and like memorable people, like there was probably a couple of flops, but but people that were like that somehow she had like an eye, almost like you hear stories about like like people that were like professional athlete scouts.
I know, it's pretty incredible, honestly. I mean,
going to like pick up basketball games, and it's like, hey, like, have you ever thought about the NBA?
Seriously though, that's what they do. I know. They definitely don't. I don't think they do that anymore at all.
No. Now it's so different, and I think that it's better and worse. I guess it's a little bit like maybe like with they do it where they're like, hey, send in a tape, apply,
Right.
and there is like it's a lengthy process of that they go through. I'm sure as you know from being involved with Survivor 50, months and months and months and months. It's not like that they would like see somebody on the street and then a couple weeks later. Maybe there's a couple of exceptions where that still happens, but I don't know. I feel like that's really good, and they find people. But I also feel like that. I think it should be both things.
I think so too. I think so too. There's something to say about someone that's like, just out in the world, like living their life, doing their thing, and like someone sees something in you that they think that you're going to be great on TV, like on a reality show. So it's like. And the people that have been picked that way, I think are fantastic. Like they've been great. Like you said, there's been some really big characters that have been scouted. So I do think that like they did a lot of the scouting, and now they're doing a lot of like sending the tapes and the videos. Now I think they need to combine the two and do like a little bit of both, like you said, I think, because that it really does make for great television and clashing personalities.
Yeah, clashing personalities, because they want people that are like
want people to not like each other. I mean,
it's not the show.
It's not.
And the people that are the huge fans of the show, and for the most part, like as we're describing, like these people are mostly lovely.
They're just
people.
So happy to be there.
They're so happy to be there.
They're just like they don't have like a mean bone in their body. Like they're so grateful to be there, which is fantastic, and I get it. But like. We want to see like the old school people. We want to see like the clashing personalities, the Kasiah tribes, and the people that like, go bicker and like fight and like don't like each other. Tribal council, like that's the Survivor that like we all watched growing up.
Yeah.
Or
it's like everybody's dream to go there and do that, but you need some people that it's like, hey, this is just like a thing that I'm doing because they told me I could win $1 million.
Yeah, because it's intriguing to watch the difference in how somebody plays if they've just been put on the show and like now they're just trying to win $1 million as opposed to somebody that's a giant fan that has like just been dying to like be on Survivor their whole life and they've applied 20 times and there's a different dynamic in those people. And so it's just I think it's more intriguing to watch somebody that just gets picked.
And
personally.
when you got recruited to go be on the show, that it's not like how it is now where you could just stream all of the episodes. Like, how did you prepare for what you were going to go do where it was, if the show isn't on, like, how do you even like keep up with it?
DVDs.
Oh, you got DVDs.
They sent me DVDs. They sent me every single DVD from the first season. And I just watched as many as I possibly could. Like I said, it was really fast for me. I was on the show, like I went out in the end of September and I was on the show in October. Like it was like a really quick turnaround time.
Yeah.
So I didn't have like months to like prepare myself in my mind. And like, I feel like I was in a bit of shock when I got on the island that like for Exile Island, when I got there and they mic'd me up, I was like, what did I get myself into? They're not giving me food. Like, what is happening?
Yeah. And
you know,
I was listening to the podcast you did with Brandon, and one of the things that really stood out to me was you were talking about like, okay, yeah, that they don't really give them food, but we didn't have food either. But the water situation was so much more dire for the players who were playing in the old era.
Yes. It's like, it makes me mad. Like I'm watching them just like go and get their like, you know, the little spoon and scoop the water and pour it in their canteen. I'm like, that was so easy. Like we had to literally hike with giant like canteens and like hike up a tall hill, fetch the water, get back down with it without spilling it everywhere, make a fire, boil the water, let the water cool, and then evenly pour it into everybody's water jug. You know what I mean? And then you had to like, and then literally everyone gets like just a tiny bit of water, and then you got to do that process all over again 1 million times. So to see them get water so easily, I'm like, ah.
Yeah. I think that they ended up making it easier for the players where you had players like when Beast Mode Cowboy ended up collapsing. I feel like that might have been a turning point where they said, okay, let's make sure everybody's hydrated.
Yeah. I think it makes for better television too, because like when you're not feeding the people and they don't have water.
Yeah, don't
like,
take their water away, but we just want to like say it was hard for us to get a drink. I would love to talk to you about when you went back for your second time, when you went to go play on Heroes versus Villains. And so you get a call, I'm sure, I guess it must have been at some point in 2009, and they say like, hey, are you interested in coming back, right?
Yeah, no. So I think I replaced somebody because I don't know if I wasn't originally in the pick. I don't think. I actually don't know the full story. I just remember like getting a call and being like, do you want to go? And it was like 2-week go time. Like it was like a very.
Wow. They never give you any time to prepare.
And that's why like with season 50, when I got called and I still hadn't heard from them in like literally the end of May, I'm talking to my family. I'm like, you know what? This is what they do. They literally make me wait. Like they've given me like a 2-week span before. I'm like, this is what, you know, so I'm trying to like prepare myself. And then, you know, I got a call, but like point being is that I haven't had a lot of time to prepare.
So you think you came in and you replaced somebody? I would if let me see if Brandon is backstage. If that do we know who?
I think he said Corinne.
Corinne. Okay. All
but
right.
I don't actually know who that is.
Yes. Okay. So that would make sense. Okay. So because I was going to ask you about the idea of you being a villain and on the Villains Tribe. And first off, was that a surprise to you that, hey, Danielle, you're a villain? Yeah.
You know what? I think it had more to do with like my personality. Like, I think it just jived better with all the villains. Like, I'm not... I don't think I would have fit in with the heroes either, honestly. I think I fit better with the villains. And yeah, I can be villainous. Like I can make villainous moves. Like I had done it a couple of times in each of my seasons. So I do have villain in me and I'll own that. But do I think I'm like a super villain?
Yeah.
No, but you know, I feel like I'm more of a villain and I've than I am a hero on, especially with like looking at the personality types that they picked on.
So it didn't bother you at all to have been
No,
labeled
no, I
as a
was just
villain?
so stoked to go. I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm a villain. I'll
Mhm.
play, you know,
Yeah.
it didn't bother me at all.
And you had a great relationship with Parvati in the season. Was she somebody that you like were aware of prior to going to go play in Heroes versus Villains? Had you been keeping up with her seasons?
Oh, I knew who she was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I definitely knew who she was. I knew who all of them, who everybody was
Yeah.
when I did Heroes vs Villains. I had kept up with all of this, the seasons at
Yeah.
that point.
Now, have you followed Parvati's career in all these years after Survivor?
I have watched, I haven't, a little bit of Traders,
Mhm.
but I've watched all of her Survivor stuff. I didn't see the Australia. I saw
Well, that's what I
clips.
wanted to ask you
I saw
about was
clips
if
of the
you had
Australia.
seen
I
any
couldn't
of
figure out
us.
how to get it working, and my husband's like, "It's
Okay.
too much effort for."
All right. Well, we can send you the links if you want to see it. So, I mean, I don't want to spoil anything for you.
Well, I know she won.
Okay. All
Yeah, I
right.
know she won.
All right.
I've been following her and Suri. I
Yes.
love
Well,
them.
that's what I really,
They're like
I
my
kind of wanted to
girls.
ask you about Sari in Australian Survivor versus the World, because did you know what
Yeah, the
happens to
fire challenge. Yeah, no, so
Sari?
I'm aware. I saw the
Yes.
clips. I just didn't see the whole
Okay.
footage. I was
So
so into it.
Sari ended up having to be in the final four fire making, just like she was with you in Survivor Panama. And she ultimately, that's how she ended up going out of the game.
I know. And I sent her a message when I saw the clip. And I was just so proud of her because she, she did the best she could, and she tried her hardest, and she did a lot better than she did when it was a big step up from when she played with me,
Hmm.
because she couldn't get the fire going with me. So this, like, she was so close, and just to like watch her play again, like, she's just so phenomenal. Like, I just love her. I love her so much. And I was so happy. I was sad to see her go, but I was happy because I feel like, she played a fantastic game and she went out a really good way.
Yeah.
You know,
Do we think that maybe between that and Survivor 50, Sari might have, now again, maybe you would think after the first time she didn't win because of the fire making, that you would think she would have this down cold. Do you think that for Survivor 50, Sari will have been like maybe the one flaw in her game?
it was fire making.
Well, do you think that she will have like when she'll come in and she's
She's
like, hey,
got to
watch
she's
this?
got to get it down by now.
Yes.
I'm gonna call her and be like, Suri,
It's too
get
late.
out there and start making fire, girlfriend.
It's too late now.
So yeah, it is, I know. So hopefully at that point, I feel like her confidence would be, at, like, she'd be really confident in making the fire. She did a great job the second time.
Mhm.
And, I feel like if she had an opportunity to do again, she would kill it.
Yeah.
I do.
Now, I know that you went very far down the path with Survivor 50 and it didn't work out. Are you still looking forward to watching Survivor 50?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, of course. I mean, I played with all of those players, like,
A lot of them.
A lot. Stephanie, Colby,
Coach.
Sheree, Coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. And so I'm very interested to see, how they play, and like if I was on the island, like who I would have worked with based on like what I see and how they play. So yeah, I'm very interested to see this season 50.
Yeah, there's a lot that's been said about, okay, are the old school players going to be able to hack it on Survivor 50? Do you think that there's a possibility that we watch Survivor 50 and the older players are like, oh my God, why didn't anybody tell me this was going to be so hard?
I don't think that is going to be the case. I don't think that at all. We had 39 days.
Mhm.
They have 26 days. That's like, that's a fraction less than what we had to suffer through. So I feel like the old school people are going to have more strength. Like, they're going to have, more understanding of, like, they just got to, like, they got to fight it. They got to fight through whatever the battle is. And, I feel like they'll stay in the game longer. Like, they'll have more stamina.
Yeah.
I don't know. And we went through so many more difficult things as the old school player that the new school, it's kind of like, oh, this is so nice. It's
What
kind of
about the
like,
faster pace? Do you think that that's going to be an issue for the players in season 50?
well, I mean, they're going to have to adapt,
Hmm.
and if they're a great player, they will. I don't think, I mean, it's the same thing as like an old person hanging out with like for example, my dad's like an older guy, right? Like, but he's like 82 years old.
Wow.
He is sharp as a whip. He's like so freaking on it, and because he hangs out with a bunch of younger people all the time, and he's always done that. And
Yes.
so I feel like kind of like what Nate's doing. I feel like if the old school person can come in and just be like a young whippersnapper and just like get in there and like adapt, that
Yeah.
they'll be good. But if they stick to like the old school mentality, kind of how Boston Rob plays, I don't know how well that they'll play if they can adapt, is what I'm saying.
Danielle, why is your 82-year-old dad hanging out with so many young people? What is he doing?
He just like he just always has, like, he loves to play poker. He's a poker player.
Hmm.
So he just like, and all the young guys play poker, and he's just like his group of friends. Like, he's got older friends too, but he just gets along with younger people. I mean, he gets along with everybody, but he just really like is able to connect with younger people. He always has.
Yeah.
So
No, I think there's something to that. I had
it keeps
gone,
them young, I feel like it keeps them younger,
right.
feeling longer.
I went out it was my birthday a couple of weeks ago, and I took my wife out to dinner, and then we went into a bar, and my wife was like, "We can't be in here. There's too many young people. We're too old. We can't be in here." I was like, "Who cares? Who cares?" I myself have to, I end up talking to a lot of young people, and I feel like it keeps you youthful.
It does. It really does. And it's like great people watching too, because it kind of brings you back. Like, you see like the era of like the kids this age now, and you remember like how you were at that age and how it's changed so much. And it's kind of like reminiscing. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's fun. It's fun.
Hmm.
I like hanging out with young people as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Of those players that you played with, who are going to be in season 50, who do you think has the best chance to go very far and surprise people?
well, I mean, I think I'm a huge fan of Suri. I think
Hmm.
Suri is going to be unstoppable, but I feel like it depends on how people are gonna, if they're gonna try to vote her off right away just because she's Suri, or
Yeah.
are they gonna like, there's a lot of threats. So she might not be like the biggest threat because she's not, a huge like athlete and all of the other aspects. Like, she's just a really great communicator.
Yes, I
And
agree with that. And I also think that especially if she's with some of the newer players, that I just think that there's like such a reverence for her where people really like, especially these new players look at her like in Survivor Heroes versus Villains when she went back. It wasn't like the players then were like, "Oh my God, I can't believe we're on the tribe with Suri." That they thought she was a threat, but they weren't like in awe of her. But
right.
now I kind of feel like that the players who grow up now and are like the young people that are playing the show now, like, "Oh my God, it's Suri. We can't get rid of her."
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because she's like a goddess now, with all
Yeah,
of her fame and all of the
they're like
things. All the,
starstruck.
I know. Seriously, it's kind of like how I felt with Boston Rob when I played with Boston Rob
Yeah,
back 20 years ago. Because when I saw him, I was like, I remember seeing him in a Las Vegas casino, and like I just was like, like when you see a famous person, you're just like, oh my God, like, And I remember seeing him in Las Vegas, and then I like fast forward, I ended up playing Survivor with him, which was pretty
sure.
awesome. But
A Boston hero. Have you followed his career in all these years since you played with him on Heroes versus Villains?
not really. I was
He's bigger
disappointed.
than ever,
I
Danielle.
was disappointed in play when I played with him in
Yeah.
Heroes vs
How
Villains. Yeah,
so?
I it was either Rob's way or the highway,
Yeah.
and I don't, I know I aligned with Russell, and it was the Russell versus Rob, and Rob had like an alliance of 7 people that I just felt like that wasn't going to work out for me. I was going to be on the bottom immediately, so I felt like I had a better connection with Parvati and Russell, and I just felt like we were able to do more damage because even though we didn't have the numbers, we were powerful and we were able to bring people in. And I really did feel that. And
Yeah.
that was the truth.
Yeah, it is interesting that he has had a consistent approach throughout all of his reality TV career of like that, and it came up so much in Heroes vs. Villains of you're either with me or you're
Oh,
against
you're
me.
against me.
Yeah, and it's like the kind of thing where when it works great, and when it doesn't work out. Do you feel like that's the right approach for Survivor?
No, I don't. I don't feel like instilling fear in somebody is ever like a good thing. I just feel like it's not personable. It makes you feel like you're being controlled, and it makes you feel like you don't have a voice. And so, that was kind of my issue with Russell as well.
Mm-hmm.
But again, because I had him and Parvati, I just felt like the dynamic was strong and we could like use Russell as a shield essentially. And, I trusted him. And Parvati. We had a tight alliance. So yeah, no, I don't think that's a good strategy to instill fear. It doesn't make you feel good. It doesn't make people want to trust you. It doesn't make people want to work with you. Some people it does. It worked on some people, but like not me. I don't like that.
Just earlier this year, it was the 15-year anniversary of Survivor Heroes versus Villains airing. Congratulations on that anniversary. And I know it because that was when I ended up starting this podcast, was to sync up with Survivor Heroes versus Villains. And it was very fun to go back and watch it still holds up great. Do you feel like was there a point when you feel like that things like, because you all have like a really good thing going right after you have come back and taken out JT, and there are 5 villains that are left. How do you feel like it ends up going wrong?
It was that day that before we would go to tribal council to vote Rupert out, and Russell was just paranoid.
Yeah.
Incredibly paranoid that day. He saw Parvati and I, interacting, and he saw how close we were. He felt it. And I felt like he was jealous of my relationship with Parvati, and he wanted her to himself. So he started to plant seeds in both of our minds that entire day and try to turn us against each other.
Yes. When he was like, "Oh, yeah, you have to vote out." He said,
Parvati's trying to vote you out.
Right.
You better. She's going to vote you out. She's trying to tell me that she's going to vote you out tonight. You shouldn't trust anything that she's saying. And then he would go to her and be like, Danielle's throwing your name out there. She's been throwing it out all day. She's been telling me that she wants to get you out. And so we were both like, we didn't believe it, but like anyone that like starts dropping like news like that on the show, like obviously when you're already like super paranoid, trying not to be, it affects you. It gets in your head and it affects you. And that was his goal, and he succeeded. And looking back, I'm like, why didn't I just keep it together?
Yeah, but what could you all have done? What do you think? Could you have gotten rid of him sooner? Did you go too far with him, or do you feel like that there was a way that maybe that I don't want to say that you have to soothe him, but like was there a way that
he was going next? He was literally going next.
Was there a way that Parvati like could have like instead of antagonizing him, could have like gotten him to chill out a little bit and then figure something else out later?
Yeah, I mean, I run it back in my head so many times, like what could I have done differently? I could have, when he was talking to Jerry and telling her to change her vote, I could have just jumped in, because now in the tribal councils, people start talking, and they're like Jeff gives you time to, talk strategy and do that. He'll give you the time to do it. So I should have just been like, no, Jerry, don't change your vote. Like, don't write my name down. Let's write Russell's name down and get everybody at the tribal council to write his name down then and there instead of mine. I could have done that. also I could have, that day I could have went up to Parvati and been like, you know what? Let's just get everybody to vote him off. Like Sandra would have voted for him. We would have tried to, it would have been challenging to get Jerry. That would have been the only tricky one because she was really tight with him. But
to go back to that faster pace, that if I recall, so that was a double episode, right? So was that just all in one day where after I think that Candace gets voted out right before that? And is that there's just not that much time, right?
No, there wasn't a lot of time at all. Yeah. And so I think that's why we weren't able to pull something like that off because it was so fast, the amount of time that we had after Candace got voted off. When we got back to camp, we had literally no time to try to align and figure out what we were going to do. And he had already planted seeds earlier that day. And so it was just, makes me so mad.
Yeah, I know. But it's all this is.
I could have got to the end. If we had gotten Russell off, I would have been sitting at the end with Sandra, Parvati, or maybe Jerry and Sandra, or Parvati and Sandra, or Parvati and Jerry. And I could have had a really nice shot at winning that $1 million.
Yeah. And you feel like that you had connections with the heroes?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, Rupert and I we weren't super close,
Because you ate too many bananas?
I ate too many bananas, and I yelled at him at night when he would be cutting wood at all hours of the night. And I would be like, Rupert, have some awareness. We're trying to sleep, dude. Come on. And he'd just be like, what? He would just continue his wood cutting. Drove me insane. But yeah, no, Rupert and I took too many bananas. I yelled at him about the wood. We didn't vibe, but, Colby and I vibed, and, the rest of them I had, Candace and I had a good relationship. And that was really the only two that were left, them two and Rupert at that point.
What do you think it's going to look like when Colby is back on television in a couple months?
I hope he steps up and crushes, brings the old Colby back, where he was super strategic and, athletic and just the Colby that we know, because the last time he played, he just didn't play to his potential. I was like, where's the Colby that we know? It's almost like he just turned his cards over and was like, I'm good. I don't want to play this. I'm done. He just didn't have any fight in him left or something. It was strange.
Yeah. And I know that the rumor is that he really wants to prove to people that was the anomaly. That's not really who he is. But do you think that he can do that?
I do. I think he can do that. Yeah, I think he can. It's just a mental switch, Physically, do I think it's going to be hard for him? Yeah, because he's an older guy, but I think he has that in him, and I think he can totally step up and play to the level that everybody wants to see him play.
Also, I think that Coach is very interesting to have come back because, Coach played so much Survivor in a very short period of time. And then it's been so long since we've seen him. How do you think that Coach is going to end up coming across in season 50?
Well, with all these young kids, I feel like I think they'll be kind of enamored by him.
Yeah, I think they're going to eat him up.
I think they're going to love him.
In a good way. Not
I think they're going to love him. I think because he's just so interesting, and he's such a character, and the young people they'll love being around his energy because he's good, and he's got great stories. He's a great storyteller.
Now, Danielle, you also got to work with Coach on the film 180 way back when. What was it like co-starring?
I did, and I kissed him. We kissed.
What was it like co-starring with Coach?
My husband's like, you kissed Coach? And I was like, it was for the movie.
It's for the movie. That doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was great. It was the first film that I had ever worked on. And I was the rock star. He was the rock star, and I was his wife. And it was, we shot it in the middle of it was St. Louis or somewhere in the boonies. But it was fun. like, I actually had a good time. I
How
enjoyed
did
it.
that come to be? Did Coach call you and say, "Hey Danielle, I've got this amazing part for you in my film"?
Yeah, that's exactly how it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a script with him and his friends, and he asked me if I'd be interested in being his love interest, and I was like, okay, like, I mean, it's a movie, it's not real. So,
Yeah.
and I was getting into acting at that time. So I was like, absolutely, like, this would be a great
I've
opportunity.
never seen it.
Yeah, it's, it's not the best. It's great.
Yeah.
Watch it. Watch it.
Yes.
You'll get a kick out of it.
I remember it was a big deal, like in the Survivor world when it came. I think it was. I'm not sure if it happened before or after Coach played again on South Pacific. I feel like it was maybe like a year after Heroes versus Villains.
I think it was, yeah, I don't
Yeah,
remember
in between
exactly.
that, I feel like, and
It was
wasn't.
it was a big deal in the Survivor world.
Yeah, I think so because that it was pre-streaming. Like there was YouTube, but it wasn't like it wasn't like showing up on like Netflix or anything like
Yeah,
that. So I just don't know if there's ever any way that anybody could have seen it other than like getting a DVD.
I know. I think that's probably the only way now, because
Hmm.
like back then, you don't, like you said, there's no streaming opportunities. But yeah, people should go watch it. Just shits and
Okay,
giggles.
maybe look prior to season 50, maybe we'll like, have that in the lead
I
up.
know, now that season 50 is coming out.
Yes. Do you think that these 90-minute episodes, when you think about your time on Survivor, when you played in the 60-minute era, do you feel like that? Do you wish that there were 90-minute episodes from when you played?
Yeah, because then you could get more footage, and
Hmm.
and like they edit it so much with us. And so like I remember watching, like, it's funny because it's like you go through the experience on the island, and then you go through a whole nother experience once it airs, and you see how they cut it all together. And so it's the more time you have for the episode, the more footage that gets in, and the more they can tell the story better, and then they can give people more, more camera time, so they can narrate their story and
Yeah.
have it, so you can have a better understanding of where they're coming from and what they're doing.
Was there something that you did in either of your seasons that you feel like that, you know what, they blew it? That should have been in the episode. How did they not put that in?
I'm trying to think. From both seasons.
Yeah, or a relationship with a certain player.
I don't remember specifically, but I just remember like the fight with me and Shane. Like, I
Hmm.
just feel like,
Which one?
well, there was one of me, like, which one? That's a good point. Yeah, the one where I mean, the one that people that has been airing right now, where he was telling me that I couldn't, like, I had an aversion to working, which
Hmm.
drives me absolutely bananas because I'm the hardest worker ever in the world. And
Yeah.
so for him to say that to me, like, and
Yeah,
I was
because okay, so that there was they played a game to the touchy subjects game, right? And they had a question of like who does the least work in the camp, right?
yeah, it wasn't me.
Oh, it wasn't you. Okay.
No, I don't think it was me. I think it was Courtney.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I mean, that's the thing. Back then, like, I wish I was suffering. Like, I could not get up. I was so lethargic. Like, I didn't have water. The first 6 days I didn't have water because my team didn't we lost the Flint the first challenge. And so everyone else got Flint and fire and boiled their water. And back then you couldn't just drink the water. You had to boil it. So they told you
When you
if you
say you lost the flint, you physically lost the flint, or it was
No, we
like
never got. We didn't
okay,
get. They
you
took our
didn't get
Flint away.
got
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Jeff took it away, so we didn't have it.
Hmm.
So Courtney and I, like, I remember. Oh, so there's a scene that now I just remember that we had to talk to medical because Courtney and I, at one of the challenges, like, we were both like near death, and this was, we incapable of even putting a sentence together. Like, we were so out of it. And so the medical team came over and talked to us, and they told us to drink the water. They're like, we know we've been telling you that you have to boil the water, but because you haven't had any source of liquid in your body, for 6 days now. Like you need to just drink it and then deal with the consequences. And so we did. And then we had to deal with the consequences.
And there were consequences.
Heavy consequences.
Yes. That's wild that they told you to do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was the only option. They were going to give us water. Yeah. So that was, I mean, I remember that specifically. And then, the fight with Shane, he just was I guess you got to see the clips of how crazy he was and coming off. So he used that essentially as a, to get off of his nicotine and whatever else he was coming off of, like a detox. And so it's like,
yes,
put somebody on here that's using this show as a detox. Like
they could just go to hot yoga instead.
It's not, and sweat out the toxins.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's just there are pieces of the story that they put together. They showed me like laying down, like when they would say, "Oh, she's not working," like they showed me clips of me laying down. I'm like, that's not like everyone else was laying down too. Like I just feel like also too, because of how I got on the show, I was in such shock of like, once I actually got there, and like, I had never gone fishing before. Like I had never like chopped wood and like done like outdoorsy kind of crazy things like that. And so it was a huge shock to me. I really didn't know how to do anything. And I feel like I wish I just jumped into it faster, because I feel like I was like trying to analyze everybody and watch everybody else do it and then learn from them, like how they were doing it. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, why do they need you to go catch fish? Don't they have other people that can do that?
Well, apparently we all have to do it. Back then, there's not like, you don't pick a few people, go fishing.
I'm not catching any fish for anybody.
Well, back then the Kasiah tribe, if you didn't participate in every single task together as a tribe, then you are not working hard, according to Shane.
Okay. Should they bring back Kasiah Sharman for Survivor?
They actually should. I think that would be really comical, because it was pretty great to have a toilet seat out there. And
well, should players use it to keep wood dry, or should they use it as a bathroom? Or why can't you do both? Why can't it be a bathroom and then also keep the wood dry?
Both. Maybe have a little shed up on like a little shelf on the top, so they can put the wood up there and then use it as a bathroom as well. Yeah, absolutely.
You were just a couple of votes away from being a Survivor winner in Survivor Panama. It's 5-2 for Aris. Do you feel like, was it close with getting a couple of votes from 2 more people?
So watching it back, it's hard to watch me. I was so broken down. And I feel like had I narrated my final tribal council better and had more confidence, then I could have won. But because I was bullied. I felt like Shane bullied me. He like broke me down, like broke my confidence. And even him and Courtney seeing them on the tribal council when they were like giving me death looks and like flipping me off and all the things, it really got to me in my head. And I was just like, I couldn't even think straight. And so,
but
I feel like I could have won more people over had I have given a better like speech.
Right. Shane is one of the votes for you though, right?
He voted for me as like,
Shane and Bruce.
Yeah, Bruce voted for me. Bruce was a huge fan of mine. Shane voted for me because he asked us to pick a number, like 1 to 10, and I picked the number that was closest to the number he picked or something. Yeah, I think he just hated Aris. He was so jealous of Aris and I, because Aris and I would cuddle in the shelter at night, and Suri and Aris would all cuddle, and nobody wanted to cuddle with Shane. And so he was very like, his feelings were hurt. And so I think he like had a lot of animosity towards me because he wasn't getting the attention that he wanted. And so, yeah, he took it out a lot on me, and I dealt with a lot with him as I did with Russell. And so, yeah, I feel like if I had just, I don't know, not let them affect me but I'm an emotional person. I'm a Gemini. And so I get emotional, and that's the downfall in the game of Survivor. You really you can't wear your emotions on your sleeve. You got to stand strong and, hold it in and, find another way to release the frustration.
How do you do that?
Breathing techniques. Yeah. Meditation. Like,
yes.
I
didn't
am
work for
so much
Shannon.
better at like calming myself, regulating myself. I have a 2.5 he's now 3. I have a 3 and a 4.5-year-old. I need to regulate myself on a regular basis.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have the skills now to be able to talk myself down and be like, okay, it's going to be all right. I'm not going to yell. I'm not going to get mad.
Were any of these like frustrations with how things went on Survivor things that ended up like taking you on that journey to yoga?
Yeah, it was therapeutic for me, like in a way. Like I needed to learn how to like calm myself in stressful situations and not get like anxiety. Like I struggled with anxiety. Like I had a lot of anxiety on that final tribal council. Like I didn't talk about it, but I was like so ridden with anxiety. And so I had to learn, because after I got off the show, I also like, I had anxiety as well. And I had anxiety with like trusting people again and just like being in real life again. Like it was a huge, shift for me. I had to like really work on myself and go to therapy and do all of that. So yoga, I took to yoga because I felt like it was something that kind of helped me learn how to regulate myself and calm myself down. And I loved it. I love the workout of it as well, and just moving my body and freeing my mind. And it's very helpful.
Yeah. And even in hearing you talk about how you went out in Heroes versus Villains, where I think you talked about that with Brandon, and you said that, hey, like, why couldn't I just, hey, Danielle, why can't you keep it together? Like that that's
a game.
So
and like, I know I let him get to my, again, emotional.
Hello.
Go talk to daddy, baby. Yeah. You can have it.
It's a bag.
Okay.
I want it.
Okay. Okay. Can you go back out there with daddy? Because mommy's doing a work thing right now. Okay. I'm talking to Rob. You want to say
hello?
Hi? This is Davy.
Hi, Davy.
Davy, you say hi.
Where's Davy?
Davy, come here. Come say hi really fast. Really fast. Say,
there he is.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
No, I just think that it's really cool that you had something that was that you were struggling with, and that you found a way to work on it. And I'm always interested in hearing about how ways people are, trying to grow from these things.
Yeah, no, that's definitely what kind of triggered that. Like it just kind of like I needed to find something to help me like learn how to control my emotions. And, when I get mad or when I get upset at somebody, instead of lashing out and yelling at them, it's like, just kind of take a breath, slow down, compose myself, think about what I need to say, and then eloquently like say it, or if they're upsetting me, it's like, come at it a different way. Like yelling at somebody is never gonna do any good, And that's like, I watched myself in the confrontation with Shane, and I'm like, had I just talked him down and kind of like co-regulated him, we might have been able to like not have that massive blowout, number one. And two, I could have like used him, like I could have like brought him in more and like kind of had more of like a relationship with him, So there's different things that, I've definitely worked on a lot with myself over the last 15 years. But yoga has always been a huge thing for me after the show. It's when it started, and now it still is to this day. And I think it's actually really great for kids as well. So I'm excited to try, to start working with my 2 best friends and getting a yoga kids show up on YouTube.
Yeah.
So,
well, That's really exciting to hear what you're working on. I will let you get back to the people that need you over there. Thank you for making so much time to talk with me about all this stuff. Is there anything else you want people to check out?
Stay tuned, because I feel like maybe Danielle will get back on Survivor one more time.
Maybe. Other than keeping it tuned to Survivor and Paramount Plus, where else should people follow you?
Instagram. So
Okay.
Mrs. Danielle DiLorenzo Nath. It's a long one.
That is a long one.
Actually, it's not Mrs. I took the Mrs. out. It's at
Okay.
Danielle DiLorenzo Nath.
Okay.
So check me out on
Less
Instagram,
formal.
Facebook. Yeah, it's less formal.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Danielle,
yeah.
this was so fun to get to catch up. I think it's probably been about 14 years since we got to do one of these chats. I think that,
I know.
if I recall correctly, I think that you and I talked during Survivor Nicaragua, which was season 21.
Oh, wow. Was it that long ago?
I think so.
Holy
Yes.
smokes.
And you know what I recall
Were
from
you?
that
I
was-
don't think you were married yet.
I know. I think I might have just gotten married. I think I
Okay.
just got married that summer.
Okay.
But my wife, I think my wife was on the call with us, and the thing that I remember the most was that somebody bought DanielleDiLorenzo.com, and they were advertising like some sort of like you went to DanielleDiLorenzo.com, and it was like go buy like full fat salads. Do you remember any of this?
I do.
Yes, that they had.
I
your-
do.
I don't know
And
what's
I was
on.
like, why would somebody do that?
I
Not
don't even know what's
cool.
on. Like, forget Mrs. Danielle DiLorenzo on Instagram. Let's see, DanielleDiLorenzo.com. Hopefully, it's something I'm not going to get a virus. It
gosh.
looks like that maybe it's not active.
I bought it. So after that happened, I bought it, like the rights to
When
it
it came
for
out.
so many
Okay.
years. And I think it just expired. So I'm like,
Okay.
I don't even know what it is now.
All right. All right. Well, thank you so much, Danielle. I appreciate it. Thank you, Davey.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody, for watching. Plenty more Survivor coming up this week when we're going on the road to San Francisco. Take care, everybody. Have a good one.
Ooh,
Bye.
bye.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.